Hello and welcome to episode 34 of the Untranslatable podcast. We are coming to you today with the topic Black Twitter 101 to hopefully inform you about some of the gems and just great things on Black Twitter. And I'm here with my awesome co-host, my buddy Jared. What's up, Jared?
Hello. This class cannot be used towards your major. Let's just clarify that now. It's only 0.3 credits. However, it is entertaining. And for just a peek into Black Twitter, you can follow us at Untranslatable 1. Just a tiny peek because that's that's professional. That's where the kids go. That's where we send all of the libraries to whenever people are looking for untranslatable phrases. Or you could follow us on Untranslatable Podcast. You could follow us at Untranslatable Podcast on Instagram. A lot of fun stuff happening there. And email us, untranslatablepodcast@gmail.com. And review us. 5 stars, please, only. That's the only thing they allow to. Really only if you're on Stitcher or iTunes, to be honest with you. But, tell the world why we're so hilarious and polyglot trained.
Right. And also, let us know what your favorite things are from Black Twitter, because there are a lot of great things.
No, I don't care, to be honest with you.
All right, well, let me know then. Oh, that's funny. So what's new, man? How's life been going?
Life's been going pretty good, man. I got some art yesterday. I went to a thrift store that my piano teacher told me about, and I got some art. And it's some good stuff. I could put it up on Instagram, but they're paintings. They're a good size. I'd say one's medium, and the other two are like medium to big. One was $35, one was $19, and one was $24. And it looks like some European art. To be honest with you,
that's awesome.
And honestly, there are two things that crossed my mind when I left there. One. I bet you I could have gotten a better deal, which this is a great price for art. And two,
how much did you pay, if you don't mind me asking?
I just said $35 for one of them, $19 for the other, $24 for the other one. And then another thing I thought was I should have gotten more, but that was fun. It was nice to get to, because I have like a lot of the place I live in now is a lot bigger than the place I used to live in, and I have a lot of empty wall space. Sometimes it makes me kind of feel like I'm a serial killer or something. So I'm like, I gotta put some stuff on some of these walls. And art is expensive, but you just have to find the right thrift store. And I probably could have gotten a couple more. I don't know why I didn't, but I can go back.
You know, when I was in Carlo Vivari or Carlsbad a few weeks ago, there were a bunch of street vendors that had some really cool art. But I looked at it and the prices, man, I would have definitely bought something, but yeah. I just saw the prices and I was like,
it was expensive,
I'm not
really?
so sure about that. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it wasn't too bad, but like the thing is, am I really going to be able to take like a piece of artwork all the way back with me?
It's a good point.
You know,
there's a lot of good street art in New Orleans, and I always and the prices are good, and I always flirt with buying something, and I'm like, I don't feel like taking, and that's just a 3-hour flight. I'm like, I don't feel like taking this on an airplane. Like, how is that going to work? So I can only imagine one getting it back from Carlsbad to Komatov and then getting it there, back home at the end of the day. I get that.
Right.
And then today I went to something called Radwood. It's a car show for 80s and 90s cars. And there are a lot of crazy cars there. And people also dress up, I guess you would say, in period. So there are a lot of people with funky 80s and 90s, a lot of fluorescent, a lot of fun stuff like that. I didn't really dress up, to be honest with you. But
I'm disappointed. I was hoping to see a picture of you in like a top hat.
A top hat?
Or no, you said it was 80s, right? Okay. Never mind. Definitely. When I heard period, I thought like more like old
Oh,
school.
no. It was 80s and 90s
Yeah, I got you.
cars and stuff.
You should have strolled up in that all red leather Thriller outfit.
Yeah, I do have
That'd be 80s, right? Or is that 90s?
That's 80s. I do have that sitting in my closet. I don't know why I didn't just whip it out. But there was like a Hulk Hogan and the other one that's Hulk Hogan's enemy. Maybe it was John Cena, actually. We talked about John Cena recently. Maybe it was John Cena. I don't know. But there are a couple things I noticed. One, it made me very embarrassed to take pictures of any of the cars. People had some serious equipment. Like these cameras were, I was like, damn, that camera costs more than that Ferrari Testarossa right there. Right. So whenever I took a picture with my iPhone, I always felt like people were being like, this guy thinks he's taking a fucking picture. It's like, first of all, he's not even getting the right angle. And second of all, that phone, you might as well use that phone to, I don't know, as a toilet plunger.
There you go. You know what's crazy? Speaking of photos, while I was in Prague over the weekend, I went to this really, really good Mexican restaurant, and there was this group of Norwegian girls sitting next to mine and my friend's table. And they asked us to take a few pictures, right? Nothing out of the ordinary, so we took some pictures of them.
Not until you
but then
say that.
They whipped out an old disposable camera.
Well, like one of those Kodak ones?
I haven't seen one of those in forever.
I know.
Have you seen? When they whipped it out, I couldn't believe it. I was like, holy shit.
I mean, you could probably get them in like CVS or Walgreens or something. I just never pay attention. Do you remember the trick you do where you smash it on your hand and it'll flash? You should have showed that to them. You could have blown their fucking minds.
Right.
Hey, ladies, check this out. Woo!
Oh, that would have been great.
Whoa! Another thing I noticed is that this is one of the first places where I've felt like I don't know anything about cars. You know what I mean? Usually I'm the smartest person in the room when it comes to talking about cars. Not here, baby. This is where the nerds of the nerds come. And first of all, I was there by myself, but even just listening in on other people's conversations, I was like, okay, wow. Like that's a level of understanding that is past my level, and you forget about that. There's always someone nerdier than you out there. Another thing that made me realize is that I don't have any car friends at all. Like I don't ever talk about I almost try my hardest to limit car talk because it's like nobody cares about this. But then I listen to these people talk. I was like, that sounds so freeing to talk about the benefits of your independent throttle bodies.
So you didn't get anybody's digits so you could chill with these car aficionados?
No, I didn't talk to anyone. Although I also did see a lot of podcasters there because I listened to car podcasts too. And I was like, oh, hey, that's nice. Freaking Brian. That's crazy.
Nice. It's always kind of weird when you, see somebody that you know from, a podcast or YouTube channel, and you see him in person.
I ran into one at a concert a couple of years ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, in D.C.
Okay. Who did you run into?
I mean, you don't know him. It doesn't matter. It's not like I'm gonna say Joe Rogan or something like that. No one knows.
What? Yeah, that'd be crazy.
But I will post some pictures because there were some cool cars there, like a Ferrari Testarossa.
Oh, nice.
What else was there? Some cool Porsche 911s for sure.
Mm-hmm.
You have no idea what I'm talking about. You're just zoning out.
Yeah, I do. I know Porsche 911. I'm not sure about the Ferrari, but I definitely know Porsche 911.
Oh, there's also a sweet Harlequin Volkswagen I'll post. You don't know what that is, but you'll know what it is when you see a picture of it.
Nice.
There were a couple DeLoreans.
Okay.
But yeah,
we saw in Prague an old. It looked like a Ford Model T.
Okay.
And they were giving people tours of the city in it.
Oh, that sounds awful.
Right.
That does not sound comfortable.
Would you rather
ride
in a Ford Model T around Prague to get a tour or do the horse carriage?
Model T.
Okay.
I don't like horses. Not that I don't like horses, but I don't want to be sitting behind one for a couple hours.
That's fair.
And I'm not driving the Model T, so that makes it a little bit easier. And I assume the people that are driving it are pretty proficient. So I would probably choose the Model T. And I'm a car nerd, so I'd be more interested to say that I did that rather than sat behind some smelly horse.
Right, that's fair.
I'd rather sit inside of a smelly car than behind a smelly horse. That was a motto from the Industrial Revolution. I'd rather sit inside a smelly car than behind a smelly horse. And it was like,
is that how Henry Ford really pushed his marketing?
Yeah, just a picture of a horse like shitting in the streets. And it's like, are you tired of your horse slipping in another horse's excrements? Shit, get a car.
Yet we still use horsepower for cars. Why is that?
Yeah, I don't know. There's just no going back at this point. And there's like multiple different horsepowers too. There's like wheel horsepower and then crank horse. There's a brake horsepower. It's ridiculous.
Oh, jeez.
And then Fahrtstockness, which is German, and then kilowatt, blah blah blah. There's a lot of different stuff that people use.
That's crazy.
How was your birthday weekend, birthday boy? You're now 27. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I'm old, man. I'm old. It was great though. We went to Prague on Friday. Stayed in an Airbnb in Prague 2, which I did not know is more of like the...
What, Prague 2 is the name of the place?
Prague 2 is like the section of the city.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's more of like a party place. But what was really sweet is there was all weekend there was called this like Signal light show. So all the old buildings in Prague, so the castles, the church... They had these projector screens hooked up, and they had these crazy light shows. So I was thinking of the pod, and I got some videos of the light show.
Okay.
And those will be going up on Instagram because they are awesome.
Nice.
Like the church, there was a church right by our Airbnb, which was just one room, 4 bunk beds. Very basic, but it got the job done. Mm-hmm. It was badass, dude. Like but what was funny. And also, I guess, really good on the planners of this event was before the show started, it said, like, the lights projected on the church said, not suitable for people who are prone to epilepsy.
Yeah.
And there were definitely some points where it was, like, really flashing like crazy.
But that sucks. Do you know that before you get there? Like, what if you get there and it's like, shit, I have to, like, either plan when I go outside to avoid this to get past it? Or, that's a bummer. But I guess
no. So it's only in designated areas.
Okay, I got you.
So it's not like just random.
Just walking down the street. It's like just random. I don't know how epilepsy works. I'm sorry.
That'd be bad. No, and what was cool was there was an app, and it gave you like a map of all the really cool like light shows. So we saw one at Namiesti Miru. Also in
how many light shows is enough light shows until he's like, all right, I get the point. Kind of like fireworks.
I mean, that's a good question. Well, the thing was, we saw over the weekend. We saw, I think,
48
or 4. We saw 3 or 4. Well, there's like 12 or something like that. There could even be more than that.
It's like I think I might have a slight psychosis, but
right.
Other than that, it was great.
All the colors have been off since the light show. Yeah, I don't know, but what was cool about it though is depending on what the backdrop was, the light show was a lot different. So one of them, it was a lot more like kind of psychedelic and color based. Another one, because it was on the facade of the church, it was more they were playing with the shapes and the geometry of the church. So when we walked up to it, it was using kind of the vertical parts of the church almost as like these like kind of like little lines going up and down in different colors. And then they like had music to it. It was really something. So there will be pictures going up on our Instagram for that because that was really awesome. Other than that, I mean, it was just good to just chill with my friends. Had actually got some waffles on Saturday. There was this place called Wafflin'. So that was really good. First time I've had peanut butter in the Czech Republic, actually.
What kind of? Tell me about these waffles.
So it was like a breakfast place where you could build your own waffles.
Ooh.
So, yeah. So, and they actually had like sweet waffles, and they also had savory waffles.
Could you
So
stuff your waffles with the peanut butter? Have them stuffed?
Sadly,
I mean
that's a great idea.
Am I getting too
you're
much?
getting too excited.
Stuffed
yeah.
with peanut butter, then you put syrup on top of the.
That would have been awesome. No, so my waffle was peanut butter, strawberries, and bananas.
Okay.
It was delicious. My friend, my buddy David, got Nutella. I think Nutella, bananas, and strawberries. And then one of my other friends, Kim, she got like a savory one. So she got like some type of cheese, arugula, tofu, I think mushrooms.
Okay.
Yeah. So
And then
I don't know,
syrup on top of that.
No syrup on top of it. I don't think so, but you never know.
How was the waffle?
It was good.
Okay.
It was good, man. I mean, we basically went there because it was right around the corner from our apartment. We got up. We might have been a little hungover, or as they say in Czech, mamo pizzi. I have a monkey.
Mama hoo.
I'm hungover. and so yeah, it was a good weekend though, man. I can't complain. Then we had, like I said, we had Mexican because I've been eating a lot of Czech food here in Chomutov.
Yeah.
So you can get some
sausage.
Oh yeah, and dumplings. Don't forget the dumplings.
Right.
But yeah, it was great, man. I can't complain. The light show was definitely a really cool kind of cultural thing to experience. And then of course we went to the unofficial bar again, the secret bar.
Of course. None of your friends
So
embarrassed
that was
you?
nice. Well, so no, because
Oh, I knew it.
There were only four of us.
Oh.
If our entire group would have gone, it probably might have been a shit show. I don't know.
Man. Okay.
But it was a good time. Actually, one of my friends though, she fell asleep on the couch. So
okay, so I still kind of
both times I've been there though, someone has fallen asleep there.
Did you know the person that fell asleep last time?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, just some random dude in the background snoring.
Are they okay? Are they okay with that?
Yeah, I mean, as long as you don't like pass out or like puke somewhere, like they seem, or yeah, exactly. I mean, the owners are super cool. They're kind of like these hippies. They're super nice.
Yannick and Yannick.
But actually, when we went, what?
I said Yannick and Yannick.
That's right. But what's cool about it is like they're super open to pretty much whoever's there. But when we went, it was actually somebody's private birthday party. A girl named Catherine.
Happy birthday, Catherine.
And then it was
shout out to you.
It was right, exactly. What was funny though was we rang and she opened the door and I'm like, maybe someone else is working, yeah. and she was like, actually it's a private birthday party. And I was like, oh well, we like know the owners, like we're here to meet some friends. She's like, oh all right, come on in, just so you know, it's not the usual. So they were playing like 80s, 90s, and early 2000s rap.
Okay.
So they had like some oh shoot.
Very Radwood up
Yeah,
there.
by Usher, right? Yeah, isn't that a song?
That is a song, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Take that and rewind it back. I don't
exactly.
Yeah, I think that's 2000.
So they played that. They also played some I think either the next episode or Forgot About Dre, Gin and Juice. So cuz she said this is like, because it's my birthday party, this is going to be the music that's going to be playing. And so we were all good with it. Like,
right.
Into Club was on by 50 Cent. So it was a good time. Brought back some nostalgic memories for me and I think my American friends who were there with me.
Right. Yeah, okay. That's cool.
But we only stayed for a bit because it was a little smoky in there and a couple of my friends were tired. I got to say though, man, now being 27, I can tell I'm old because I was actually super stoked to be in bed by like 1 a.m.
Oh, yeah. No, I get that.
It's a great feeling.
I'm not 27, but I get that. But I am a homebody, I think is the proper term. That's cool, though. How was it was mainly for this dude that turned 30, though, right?
Yeah. And sadly, we didn't even really meet up with them on Saturday, but we hung out on Friday. The problem was, altogether, there were, I think, 11 or 12 of us. And it's just difficult to coordinate with that big of a group, especially like we were trying to go eat dinner together. Everybody, for some reason, I don't know what it was, but everybody was craving Mexican food. and the Mexican restaurant was really small.
I think there's a phenomenon for that where it's like the power. I don't know if it's the power of suggestion or something like that, but like, just once a certain amount of people start to say they want that, everyone's like, yeah, Mexican food.
Right, but we went to a Japanese place the night before. It was delicious.
Does the Czech Republic, does Prague, are they known for having good food? Because I'm hearing such wide varieties. So. And I'm like, am I going to trust my Mexican and Japanese food to people of Prague? No offense, people of Prague.
I would say you're probably safer. Like a safer bet would be Thai, Vietnamese, Japanese, or Chinese food, because I think they do have like the people that were at our restaurant were either Vietnamese or Japanese.
Okay.
And like I don't know if this is racist to say, but like if I go to like a certain restaurant, I would like to have, the people of that culture making my food or running it or something, so it's good quality, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to go to a Mexican place and have some dude named I don't know Jake, Jake like making my fajitas. Like I'm sure Jake could probably make some great fajitas, but like I don't know. To me, it's different if it comes from somebody who's actually from that culture. I don't. Is that racist?
Who was making your Mexican food in Prague?
I have no idea. I don't know.
Okay.
Didn't go back there and be like, hey, can I see who your cooks are before I order my food? That's smart
because of people like you. They're like, hide the cooks.
Right. Is that racist though? I mean,
racist. I don't know if it's racist, but it's certainly. I don't know. I don't know if that's racist. You live your life how you want, I guess.
Right. You're not gonna hurt my feelings if you say it is.
If it's racist, I don't know. I guess it's. I don't know. I think it's an okay level of race. I accept it.
Fair enough. I don't know, but it was good. And like I said, I feel like there's at least I can tell you there's a very large population of Vietnamese here in the Czech Republic. So you could definitely probably get some really authentic. I think that's what it is. It's the authenticity of it.
Yes,
there we go.
There we go. Oh,
it's the authenticity of it.
Putting a nice little bow on it.
Right. Right. Yeah. But anyways, yeah, it was good. So shout out to all the tasty, I guess all the good cooks that were making all this tasty food that I was able to enjoy over the weekend. And I have some other shout outs. So the first shout out I'd like to give is to the frontman of the Foo Fighters, Dave Grohl. I saw a video yesterday. They brought up this 10-year-old, and he played Enter Sandman by Metallica with the Foo Fighters.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, so I got a really good...
Shout out to the 10-year-old and Dave Grohl.
Right, because I've seen multiple occasions where the Foo Fighters have pulled somebody up on stage and let them play a song with them, which I feel like that's the coolest thing ever. But I was talking to one of my friends because I showed them the video, and they were like, would you be able to do that? And I'm like, I don't care if I know the song front, back, and sideways. I think I would get so nervous being on stage with like the fucking Foo Fighters, like
in like some sort of arena or something.
Mm-hmm. And the other thing is, I've never played that loud before.
Yeah,
it's like a different feeling. Like I've played, I think one show, I might have played for about 500 people.
Okay.
Maybe 300 to 500, somewhere around there. And we had a professional sound guy there, like made it sound really good. Mm-hmm. It was great. But that was in our auditorium at our high school.
Right, where it's set up.
It's not like an arena.
Yeah. I've heard similar things said about from comedians, where it's like when you go from performing in, say, like a comedy club to a theater or something, or an arena or something like that, that you have to adjust to the sound, and that at least in terms of what the comedians were saying, you have to like sort of pause a little bit more for the laughter because it actually does take some time for like sound and everything to travel. Mm-hmm. So there's way more pausing and like than you might feel comfortable with, and it's just it is a different even more than just there being more people. It is a different sound to get used to.
Oh, for sure, without a doubt. Another
Dave Grohl, by the
shout-out-
way, is he at this point? Has he reached like living legend status at this point?
I would say so.
Doesn't he have like also that rock throne or whatever it is that he plays in?
What is that? I don't even know what that is.
David Grohl's rock throne of thunder. David.
I don't know.
Grohl,
I don't know what that is.
Rock stone, not rock stone. Rock throne. Rock chair. Here it is. David Grohl's rock chair. I think there was a moment in time where David Grohl, this was in 2015, I believe. David Grohl broke his leg, and while his leg was broken, he was performing. He was still performing and still touring, but he had a rock chair.
Yeah, a wheelchair.
No, it was. I don't know if it was a wheelchair. This is a.
I thought it was a wheelchair. No.
I don't think it is a wheelchair. This thing is pretty big.
Okay, interesting.
I'm looking at it right now, and they don't say it's a wheelchair. They say it's that thing's stationary, and if it's moving on some sort of machine underneath it. Oh yeah, and he's sitting on it, playing with his leg elevated, with a cast on it, sitting in this chair. And this is Dave.
And he's
Grohl.
like headbanging. Oh my god, that's amazing. I do see this. Yeah, I mean I would say that alone. Really, there's a lot more that I think would have already earned him rock legend status.
Well, I mean, the fact that I'm just saying,
sure.
I mean, the fact that he's been in Nirvana and started then another successful band that he fronts. I think the two band combo helps, and the fact that they're, I'm not a huge Foo Fighter fan, but people seem to like him. Clearly, he's doing all right.
Right. I'm a big fan of Foo Fighters. I think they're great.
This is not my thing, but I don't have a problem with Foo Fighters or anything.
Right. Hey, man, to each his own. Nothing wrong with that.
Right.
Yeah, and that's like serious rock star status, though, when your fucking leg is broken.
Yeah.
And you're still, because they could have probably canceled the tour.
Oh, sure. I mean, it's not like he can afford to lose a little money on a tour, I'm sure.
Right. But I think he also, in terms of musicians and like famous musicians, it seems to me like he really does have a lot of good morals and values. He generally just seems like a good guy.
People seem to, you never hear anything bad about him. People seem to like him in the biz, from what I hear. From my talk with the agents and managers in Hollywood, seems like seems like people seem to like him. Maybe we'll get him on the pod one day if I feel like it.
Right, you're gonna have to listen to some more Foo Fighters first. But what's really funny is I remember reading an interview in like Guitar World or something or somewhere where they asked him, how do you stay humble when you're a rock star? And he was like, have kids. He was like, you can be the biggest rock star in the world, and your kid will be like, I want a smoothie. They don't give a shit that you're a rock star.
Right.
They want their smoothie or what. Like the way he put it was really funny.
Yeah.
Like, and it makes sense, Like, I think it's always great when you can see someone who has such an influence on so many people, and they don't get this giant ego,
Yeah, they can still live in reality. Because it's hard. I mean, someone living legend like Dave Grohl, he can, he's at that point in his career where he can do essentially whatever he wants. Mm-hmm. And at that point, I think it seems like it's harder to, not harder, but the challenge is, controlling, figuring out what's important and living in reality still, in spite of essentially having everything you having potential to everything you want. In theory,
Right, for sure. I got a few more shout-outs. So my other is for Jared. It's Jarete.
Jarete? Wait, E-T-E? Jarette?
E-T-E.
Okay, I don't know.
I don't know. Anyways, we'll just go by his last name. Jarete Hucks, Jared Hucks, whatever. Mr. Hucks, he has provided free room and board to families who have been affected by the hurricanes.
In Florida?
So he's given away, I believe, South Carolina.
Okay. I can't keep up.
Right, I know, right? You know what else is crazy with these hurricanes is there's now like one that might actually like hit Portugal.
Really?
Which has never happened before.
Really?
That we know of, yeah. There's never been any like tropical storm that has hit mainland Europe, at least in the last 100 years.
Dude, you're telling me global warming's a thing? I walked outside today and I had to wear a sweater because I'm fucking out of here, dude.
It was hot. It was hot in Prague all weekend.
Oh, was it? It's been in like the 50s and 60s over the weekend. It's kind of nice actually. I had on a flannel today. It was nice. I actually bought a flannel at along with those art pieces. I bought a flannel at the thrift store, and it's a little thicker, and it's like a button-down flannel, but it's like has like a coat lining within it.
Oh, fancy!
So it's a little bit thicker, and that's what I wore today.
Multifunctional,
nice.
Dude. Nice.
Yeah,
very nice.
It was very nice.
My other shout out is to a 24-year-old Zimbabwean waiter who uses his wages to run a free soccer academy.
What?
His name is Kevin Mudozi, and he started the Harvest Soccer Academy in 2016 to get children in Zimbabwe off the streets and to hopefully help them become professional soccer players.
That's awesome.
So I think that's amazing when somebody gives back to the community like that.
And he's
so
24.
Yep.
Do you ever feel like a piece of shit?
Because I'm not doing these things?
Yeah. I mean, he's 24.
I mean, sometimes, yeah.
He's using all of his savings to...
But we all... I feel like everybody lives life on their own timelines, you know?
Right.
Like somebody might retire at 50. Somebody might become the CEO at 50.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know?
That's fair.
So yeah, I don't know.
Dropping some knowledge on me. Okay. That's
I'm trying. You know, I just think it's amazing whenever somebody tries to give back in any way, shape, or form. I mean, I've been doing a few things here in the Czech Republic. I offer an English class for the teachers' kids. I also offer an English class for the teachers. But I wouldn't say that's nearly comparable to using your tips as a waiter to fund a soccer academy.
Yeah.
That's pretty remarkable.
Yeah, but as you mentioned before, everyone's on their own timeline. And I think that the fact that you do what you can in general is cool. So
right.
Don't sell yourself short because someone's better than you as a human.
That's fair. And my last shout out, I try to find like something cool that like a country is doing. And Colombia has created the world's largest tropical rainforest national park. So shout out to Colombia for having basically protecting some of these really, really important ecosystems in their country and creating the world's largest tropical rainforest national park.
Colombia has got some weird animals in it. Do you know why?
No, why?
Because Pablo Escobar.
He
brought in he had like
hippos.
Yeah, and now there are like hippos that are not. I don't know if you want to say native, but that are now live in Colombia that were never meant to be there. But he brought them in for because he built a zoo or whatever. I think there are other animals too, but hippos are the famous ones because they're kind of not invasive, but aggressive animals. So it is like maybe a culture shock.
Didn't he have tigers or lions?
Oh, I'm sure he did. I actually just typed in Pablo Escobar animals in Google, and it's all about hippos. It's just all hippos. Right. Hippo talk here.
They're crazy animals, man. Like they're super territorial. They're super dangerous.
Yeah, I've seen them in the wild before. We had to stay there were a couple animals that we had to stay super far away from. Not lions. We can get very close to lions. The baboons, you have to stay very far away from.
Really? Why is that? They're just very dangerous?
Very aggressive animals, and they'll just murder you and stuff.
Okay.
Hippos, and there was one other one that I can't remember. But yeah. Oh yeah. So yeah. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, shout-outs. You got another shout-out you were gonna give?
No, that was it.
Okay.
Colombia was my last shout-out.
Oh, right. Shout out to Colombia for that. Yeah, sorry, I went off about the animals in Colombia.
You're good. No worries, man. Well, do we want to get into our untranslatables?
I think it's about that time. Oh, my clock.
Oh, perfect.
My clock is never wrong, Chad. And when the untranslatable owl cuckoos, that means it's untranslatable o'clock.
Do you have an untranslatable Rolex cuckoo clock or something? Because it's super accurate.
It is a Rolex. It costs a lot of money. It came built with a alarm system that every time it's untranslatable time, it's just like, oh well, and I just whip out my microphone wherever I'm at. I gotta do it.
Right.
This Rolex
That's the only
costs
way you can really become
$10,000.
right. That's the only way you can really become a polyglot. You know.
I'd say so. This is the dedication we have, even though people like Chad decide that they're not going to go to a Polyglot Clown. That's fine. Just because it's a lot of money. Anyway.
Haters are going to hate.
My first untranslatable is Bengali, which I think they also call it Bangla.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Wow.
I'm pretty sure they do. I have a friend from Bangladesh.
Okay. And the the phrase is Asta kurud pat kokohono shortage jena.
Ooh. Which means?
The dustbin's dripping. The dustbin's dropping. Never goes to heaven.
So is that like, I don't know, bad things are never rewarded?
I'll give you that. I'll give you one.
Ooh,
just
right.
because your wording was not that good. Not bad things, but bad people.
Okay. Okay.
Never. It was the meaning that I was given from the website was a very almost seemed like I was getting scolded. An ignoble person can never continue in a noble company. And I was like, shit.
Oh, interesting.
Okay. Fine. I'll drink a little less. I get it.
There you go.
Dude, I haven't drank at all this month. I'm partaking in Sober October and I was like, oh, I'll take off drinking for a month. And it's been fine. It's actually been kind of nice. I feel like I have a lot of energy. Almost a lot of like energy, like too much. But it's kind of nice. However, I'm doing shit like eating Pop-Tarts. Like I bought Pop-Tarts the other day. And I was like, what am I doing with my life? I haven't bought Pop-Tarts in years.
Do you never eat? Okay, why did you buy Pop-Tarts?
I think it's
just
just
have to do with
because
not drinking.
I think it's just that lack of like sugar or something.
Okay.
I don't know, but I just need a rush from somewhere.
Okay.
like some little junkie.
There you go. I might take November off. I figured October wouldn't be realistic since my birthday's in October.
Right.
But
you
I
have
might
to
do
drink on your
November.
birthday. That's I believe Czech rule.
Exactly, it's a law. You can get sent to jail otherwise.
They're very
sure.
strict about that.
Exactly. And we were given we were given a talk by the U.S. Embassy, and they were saying they will not bail us out of jail if we don't drink on our birthday.
You'll lose your visa. And
That's right.
and I actually I don't want to scare you, but I have heard some stories about the United States disavowing some Americans and being like, we don't even know who that person is. Keep them.
just keep them. Yeah. Exactly. Well, my untranslatable, I have one Czech one for you, and this one is actually kind of related to beer. So it is Ticha jako piena, which means silent as foam.
Silent as foam.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about beer, you said?
Well, I mean, I'm assuming the foam comes from foam from a beer.
Oh,
I could
okay.
be wrong.
Is it just very quiet?
Well, you
Quiet
can give
as a
yourself that
mouse.
ham horn. There you go. Hit that ham horn, dude. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I love that one though. Silent as foam. Of course, instead of saying quiet as a mouse, they say quiet as foam here in the Czech Republic.
You know, I think when I first heard silent as foam, I thought it was some sort of oxymoron because I was thinking like styrofoam. And I was like, styrofoam's not really quiet to me.
It's not quiet at all.
Exactly.
No. No, definitely not.
My next one is Haitian Creole. I wish I should have done some more research into this language because I don't even I believe it has a French base, but it doesn't seem like it based off of the words. Met d'eau nan devin.
Which means
Put water in wine.
put water in. My instant. This isn't like religious at all, is it?
No.
Okay. Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know why you'd put water in wine. Is it like is something like too strong? I don't know.
No. What it means is like telling someone to calm down or simmer down or relax. Put some water in your wine.
Oh, okay. I see.
Essentially, I think it's like saying, you're not. I don't think it has to be you
Slow
drinking.
down.
Yeah, but it's like, ooh, you're going a little fast there. Might want
Right.
to ease off that wine a little bit there.
Sprinkle a little water in there.
What would be? I don't know any Haitian Creole names. Victor.
That's probably not, but I don't know. I could be wrong. Well, Jared, I have an Afrikaans one for you.
Ooh, it's a jackal. A jackal. A jackal. It's a jackal.
I almost did one, but I wasn't sure if we had done it or not, and I figured we probably did, so I avoided
you did ask
all
me,
the jackal ones.
You did ask me to write down a list of all of the untranslatables I've done, so you could have gone and
That
checked.
is true. That is true. I don't have that on my 3-month research plan, unfortunately, but I'll have to add that. Anyways, this one involves a different animal, which is a monkey. Sorry, no, that's my second one. Actually, you know what? I haven't said it, so we'll just do that one first.
Remix.
So this one is also Afrikaans. Nesten ap op een stokkie. Like a monkey on a stick.
Lazy?
Nope.
Okay.
So, for example, when you were talking about some of the car stuff.
Oh, bored to death?
No. I'm trying to give you an example here. When you were talking about the car stuff, maybe I didn't quite understand what you meant, and you could say you look like a monkey on a stick.
Oh, okay. You just look like clueless.
Clueless or to look perplexed.
Okay. Alrighty. I have one more, and it's Mandarin. Qui hu nan xia.
Okay, which means?
It's hard to dismount a tiger.
It's hard to... oh, wow. I mean, they're not wrong. I mean, I've never mounted nor dismounted a tiger.
Yeah, I
but
feel like it's
would
harder
imagine-
to mount than it is dismount a tiger.
That's true. Hard to... What was it? It's hard to dismount a tiger?
It's hard to dismount a tiger. Qui hu nan xia.
Is that kind of like the cat's out of the bag? Like once something bad happens, you can't...
Not
Go back?
really.
No.
It's
Okay.
more positive than that. It's got more of a positive spin rather than. But you're on the right track. I want to give you another chance on this one because I think I like where your head's at.
Okay.
And I have
It's hard
faith
to
in you, Chad.
dismount. It's hard. I appreciate it. It's hard to dismount a tiger. Is it like once you get...
So think
is
of-
it like is it like once you get going, you just got to keep going?
I'll give you that.
Ooh,
It's just,
all
yeah,
right.
but because I was going to say, you did mention cats out of the bag. What it's saying is like, if you're in a difficult situation, the best thing to do is just carry on through and don't quit. Essentially,
That makes sense. That's good. I like that one.
Yeah, it's like once
If
you're in
I
a
were
shit
to
show,
ever-
just ride it.
If I were to ever get a Chinese character tattoo, that might be the one I would get right there.
Okay, I do have the characters.
Ooh, you'll have to send
I'm
them
gonna
my
like,
way.
I'm gonna like change it to like
Chicken noodle soup.
slipping on gator piss or something like that.
There you go. Nice. All right, well, I have one more Afrikaans for you.
Okay.
Hang aan een tak, which means to
Hang
hang on
on
a
a-
branch. Not a day, but a branch.
Um,
Were you going to guess day?
I don't know. I really don't know. But I probably wasn't gonna guess branch. I'll tell you that.
Okay.
To like hold on a second to wait.
Ooh, hit that ham horn, my man.
This is how polyglots
Good
are formed,
work.
people. You're witnessing
work,
the beginning stages of greatness. You're welcome.
That's right.
I should be charging for this shit. Speaking of charging for this shit, I'm about to unleash some some secrets. And let me start by saying one thing about unleashing secrets is I'm not going to give recommendations on who to follow. That's one thing I'm not going to do.
Okay.
Because I'm not here to put the cat out of the bag. I'm not here to vouch for anyone that's coming into this space and ruining it.
That's fair.
However, the topic is Black Twitter, and I guess we should start by saying what is Black Twitter.
For sure.
It's not a website. It's not its own group somewhere. Well, I guess it is a group, but it is like it's a section of Twitter that is like where a certain group of people tend to congregate. They all happen. Most of them happen to be black, which is why they call it Black Twitter. And it's where a lot of like, it's like where cultural trends come from now. Like it's just the pumping zone for cultural trends, I would say. And this is what The Atlantic said. I thought this was it sounds like they're giving Black Twitter the Nobel Peace Prize or something. Black Twitter is a force. It is also not particularly well understood by those who aren't a part of it. The term is used to describe a large network of Black Twitter users and their loosely coordinated interactions, many of which accumulate in trending topics due to the network size, interconnectedness, and unique activity. And the thing about Black Twitter is they often say that like there's a lot of like it's a very good place for jokes to originate from, but it's also the originator of a lot of like very important social movements that have been happening. Like for example, Me Too. A lot of people don't know started by a black woman back in like 2006 or something like that, and then reused in 17. Black Lives Matter, all that stuff started on Facebook, I believe. Did you know, this is according to Pew Research. Good follow on Twitter, by the way. Twitter, in higher concentrations than, Twitter is used in higher concentrations than white Americans, according to the Pew Research Center on American Life, which is found in 2014 that 22% of online African Americans use Twitter compared to 16% of online whites.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Black people love Twitter, apparently.
I did not know that. Interesting. Okay.
I think I know. Do you? Let me ask you, as a I guess quote unquote outsider. You're barely ever on Twitter in general.
Correct.
How do you think like this quote unquote Black Twitter formed? What do you think of when you think of Black Twitter, and where do you think it comes from?
I mean, well, okay. Well, first, I should probably preface how I've even come across it and in what capacities, because I don't want to give our listeners like the wrong impression. But the way that I've come across Black Twitter,
Chad, by the way.
The way that I came across Black Twitter was mostly memes, like funny memes that were actually then reposted on Facebook, on Twitter and Facebook, on Facebook, but they were from Black Twitter. But I mean, to me, I don't know, man. I mean, to me, it just seems like it's. I mean, like you eloquently, or who was it that wrote that nice little blurb about?
Oh yeah, someone. That was from the Smithsonian that gave the stats.
Yeah. No, the thing you said before that.
Oh, The Atlantic. I don't know.
Yeah.
I can tell you the author, but I don't know off the top of my head.
Yeah, no, it doesn't really matter. But I mean, to me, I guess I think the reason why it formed is just, for people to have a community and come together, express their, humor, grievances, struggles, everything like that. I mean, that's the beauty of a lot. I think social media has a lot of negative impacts. You can really easily spread misinformation, especially if you get your news from memes, like I did that
you
one episode.
Do like me, get all your news from Breitbart, the trusted news source of America.
Right. I tend to go
Black
for
Twitter's choice in news.
Right. I tend to go for Fox News myself when I want to get very factual, non-biased information.
Was it you that I told that? Or maybe this wasn't on the podcast that I said this. I don't remember. But that at my work there's a TV and there's always Fox News on whenever I'm in the cafeteria where it is. I always change the channel if no one else is in there.
Nice. That's awesome.
I was like, oh man, why does this have to just be on like rotation all day long?
Right.
Although I did one day, I rarely eat lunch in there. One day I did, and I ate lunch at like 1:30, so it was way past when everyone else did. And I watched Family Feud. That was great. Now that I was like, I don't think I'm ever going back to work.
Right. I don't blame you.
So,
but yeah, I don't know. But I mean, that's I guess what I would say it is or why it exists. I don't know. Am I wrong?
No, I would agree with you. I think, like the black community we have this, I think almost kind of illusion of being a very tight knit community. We are a very tight knit community, but it's also, we're a small population spread out among America, and so, I think it started off as a place where people can express thoughts, and then you realize that you're not alone in feeling this, and that a lot of people relate to those feelings. You're like, oh, I didn't realize that this was something that we could all relate to, and it brought together a very tight community, but a very almost illusion of tight community, just because of it's like, yeah, but we're still a very small population of the American population and spread out over, theoretically over 50 states. Obviously, there's higher concentrations in certain areas, but in general. So yeah, no, I'd agree with that. And it became like there's always there's the I was gonna say there's the stereotype, but I was gonna say there's the truth that people steal from black community. Like black community is like music and art and all that stuff. And that's what Black Twitter has turned in. Black Twitter has turned into like the 2018's version of like Elvis. You know what I mean? Where it's like,
right.
It's like all of that stuff comes from this little quote unquote place called Black Twitter. One of my favorite recent one of my favorite things about Twitter that it's done is that it shines a light on racism. And it no longer makes things undeniable, and it's definitely had the ability to give a lot of like give a lot of shine to stories that people would have never heard of. People always talk about how there's all these shootings all the time now, and it's like this is no more than it was before. It's probably better, to be honest with you. It's just and that should, if anything, make you think about how much shit is happening right now that you don't hear about, and how much stuff has happened in the past that you had no idea about, and how much stuff got covered up, and how many people, they got fired from one police department and they got hired at another one, which just happened recently, by the way. One of my favorites, though, is the people, not favorites, but one of my favorite shitty things that's come around recently is people calling cops on black people doing innocent shit. For example, Permit Patty.
Oh, yep. We talked about that in one of our episodes.
Poolside Pete. Barbecue Betty. We did, Becky. We did talk about it recently. However, did you know there's a new one that just happened yesterday?
What? Wait. Was it the woman that the black kid's backpack grazed her ass, and she said he touched her inappropriate?
Yes.
Sexually assaulted her, I think is the term she used.
Right. And then they used the security video to prove that the kid didn't do anything. And do you know what they called her? She's got a name too. Corner Store Caroline.
Oh my God, these are great.
And
you know what's kind of weird about that situation though? Because obviously what she did was wrong, but apparently I did a little reading on it, and apparently that woman also has some type of mental issues.
Racism is a mental disorder.
Well,
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
But yeah.
And they also, there was like the video of her, like they played back the video in front of her with all these people around her, and she had on like her sunglasses, and she was just standing there. She was like, "I was wrong," and it's like, yeah. But you know what annoys me about that is that I think more than anything, what it shows is that how many people just use like the cops as their little like protective services, you know what I mean? Like, come save me from these black people, almost kind of thing. And for example, there was that video on Twitter that circulated, and Instagram probably, about that dude that was drunk in the airport, and he was a white dude, and he was like, and he got like arrested, and he was yelling, "They're treating me like a black person," and there's
I did not know that. Holy shit!
It was like a month
awful.
or so ago.
Okay.
And it's just like this, like, almost deniability of it, but then but it's like it's only denying it when it's convenient for you to deny it or whatever.
Right.
And it's just
For
like
sure.
it's so funny that you could just yell that and not even realize the irony behind that.
Right. For sure.
However, that's the thing about Twitter, Black Twitter more specifically, is that there is all this shittiness that's uncovered, but the best part of Black Twitter is not. I mean, it is the shittiness that's being uncovered, but it's the way that it's dealt with. I mean, the jokes that come out of it is great, and it's all about. Once I mean, obviously there's people have soul, so if it's something terrible, maybe jokes won't be made. But for example, something like Permit Patty or a Poolside Pete or Barbecue Becky, the jokes that have been made with that Barbecue Becky of that woman holding the phone in the park have been amazing.
Oh, they're hilarious. There was one I saw yesterday of her calling, and it was a picture of Kanye West wearing his "Make America Great Again" hat, and then she was like, "Oh wait, never mind." And she hung up the phone. So yeah, I thought that was hilarious.
And I think that's a great way to shed light on ignorance is by jokes.
Humor is super important, I think, for things like that.
And I think that just the power of Black Twitter is shown not even by the fact that they're making jokes, but it's like these are all like we're still talking about like serious shit right now. Like this is not like we're making jokes, but it's because this happens so much that it's laughable at this point. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's especially like the double standard and the ignorance of all of it is laughable. And I think that it's so funny that a lot of these great parts of Black culture come out of start out of like our at our detriment essentially.
Right. Speaking of Kanye West, by the way, I'm scrolling through Black Twitter as we speak.
What do you mean you're scrolling through Black Twitter? I didn't give you the password.
Well, I snuck in, Jared. I created a fake Twitter account and
I was going to say, there's no way they'd let in a chat and there.
Right? No shit. But there's the picture of Kanye hugging Trump.
Yes.
And then below it is a picture of Samuel L. Jackson's character in Django Unchained with Leonardo DiCaprio, who's
I've
the
seen
slave owner. And it was like I knew I recognized Kanye and Trump from somewhere.
Well, that's another
that's
another hot button Black Twitter issue is Kanye West. Kanye West famously, I would say, I'm not even going to say infamously, many years ago said the line, George Bush don't care about black people. And ever since then, and, Kanye West also makes great music. And, I'm not a big fan of most of his recent stuff. But anyway, people have really supported him, even though he's done a lot of crazy shit in the past before. It's not like he's new to crazy shit. But some would say, he's crossed the line. And, it's kind of also similar, this is going to sound ridiculous, but it's also kind of similar to Bill Cosby, where it's like most people in the quote-unquote black community don't even really like Bill Cosby because there's a lot of, he's got a lot of that pull your pants up kind of like, this is why you aren't getting anywhere in life. But also at the same time, and like don't swear and all that stuff. But also at the same time, all these people that don't like him for that probably also like Cosby Show and grew up with that show and all that stuff. And there becomes this dilemma where people, either have to choose to stand up for someone or have to quote unquote cancel or boycott or whatever it is. And I try not to partake in that. First of all, I try not to idolize people. I'm always like, these people, you can't have any faith in these people. You don't know these people, but also,
for sure,
I understand why it can be such a controversial topic, especially when the stuff that Kanye West is talking about. It's like it is based on a lot of historical ignorance, and it's also based on a lot of like ego and just self-centered stuff.
Right. Well, and plus his comments about slavery, I feel like were super controversial as well.
Yes. But he's also he's full on like he just I don't know. It's so hard for me to even follow it because I'm like what do you want from this guy? Are you like looking for this? Like I just don't understand what you want from him. I don't get it. And I understand that. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I think I what it is. I just struggle with anyone like putting any faith or anything into any people that they don't friggin' know. It's like, you don't know these people.
Well, I agree with you, but I think what most people might argue is that they have so much social influence and so many people who do idolize them and look up to them.
And people are let down or excited, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's but I mean, it's just, and people are, it's interesting watching people just slowly, like in the quote unquote Black Twitter community, slowly just like say, fuck you, Kanye West. And I get it, but it is an interesting thing to watch. And I think, that is a great representation of a Black Twitter fiasco, Another thing about Black Twitter is it's the home. It's where all great hashtags originate.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them some of my favorites that I remember are hashtag Black Girl Magic. That one is a constant one. That's a staple of Black Twitter, and it's essentially giving it's when giving praise to some Black woman for something. That's a staple. Another one. Let me ask you if you remember this one. Hashtag Paula's Best Dishes.
Is this like Paula Deen?
Yeah. Remember do you remember she
I remember she dropped the N-bomb, didn't she?
Well, no, it was more than that. She was planning a slavery themed wedding. And
what?
It was like and
holy shit, I did not know that. Are you serious?
Yeah. Of course I'm serious.
Wow.
Damn. I think she might have also said the N-word too, but I mean, I think you're more of an idiot if that's surprising to you. It's like, yeah, of course she said the N-word. Look at her. She's like 318 years old, and she's from Alabama or whatever.
Right.
But I have a couple. So people were making fun of Paula Deen on Twitter when that happened. That was in 2015, I believe, or excuse me, 2013. Mm-hmm. And there was, for example, hashtag Paula's Best Dishes, Ku Klux Klan Dyke bars.
Oh, that's funny.
Paula Deen can teach you how to properly segregate the eggs whites from the colored yolk. Hashtag Paula's Best Dishes. God. Hold on, let me give you. I got some more. Macaroni and cheese. Hashtag Paula's Best Food Dishes. White Devil's Food Cake. Back of the Bus Biscuits.
Oh God, Jesus.
And I think there's Uncle Tomato Soup.
Oh, those are great.
And
those are hilarious
we shall
hashtags.
over crumb cake.
But see, I mean, that's the beauty of like humor and Black Twitter is that it gives people a place to share these things and kind of come together in this great community,
Oh yeah, it's great. I love it. And there was another one too, that was one of my favorites. That was from. It's crazy to think that's also 2015, because social media time is on a different. It's totally it's on a different. I don't know what the proper word is. Wavelength, plane, stratosphere. You're not helping. Why aren't you helping me? You're just sitting there silently while I'm trying to think of a word.
Because I'm scrolling through Black Twitter. Sorry, I've been distracted.
That's the thing about Black Twitter is that it sucks you in.
It really does. There's a lot of great stuff on here.
Anyway, so another good one is famous Melania Trump quotes. Do you know where that one comes from?
Oh, yes. That comes from the fact that she copied Michelle Obama, right?
Yes.
The speech?
Yes. So there's stuff like, I have a dream, hashtag famous Melania Trump quotes. There's,
oh, my God.
I wake up in a house built by slaves, I mean Slovenians, hashtag famous Melania quotes. So, and all of this stuff is based off of I would argue genuine bullshit that's happening. But and they don't, by the way, I'll say this: they don't all have to be based off of bullshit. Some of them are just fun ones. See, now I need to now I'm on my phone too. But there are some, like, for example, one of my personal favorites from a while ago was the Thanksgiving clapback. Do you remember that?
Yes, those are hilarious. The Thanksgiving clapbacks.
Let's see. I wish I could find some.
I remember one that was like, and I don't know if this was on Twitter or not, but I remember a Thanksgiving clapback that was like, getting a tattoo is a pretty permanent decision. And they were like, yeah, Aunt Jackie, so is having 3 kids with like, yeah, so.
Yeah, there's like auntie. Damn, you're on your 4th piece of pie. Damn, you're on your 4th baby daddy. And then a lot of the ones like that are also accompanied by like someone like drinking a mug of tea, which in the sips tea is also a very important part of the black community, which essentially the sips tea means like it's the petty or passive aggressive way of saying like, but that's not my business. You know what I mean?
Right.
But who am I to say? Or it's like, I see you're not in college. I see your son's still in jail. But that's not my business.
Right.
I was drinking. I wasn't drinking when I was 16. Can't drink when you're pregnant. Hashtag Thanksgiving clapback. Let's see. I want to see if there are any other good ones. All right. No. Anyway, that was another one of my personal favorites was the Thanksgiving clapbacks. However, I'll say this: it wasn't all fun and games, as I mentioned before on Twitter. There were also a lot of this jokery starts from a place of addressing some sort of serious situation. So, for example, we mentioned. No, we did not. For example, hashtag say her name. Do you have you heard of that one?
Mm-mm.
So that was a result of Black Lives Matter. They were focusing on a lot of like black men that were being killed by police and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, okay. Uh-huh.
And the hashtag say her name was to shed light on a lot of the black women that were also being murdered that weren't being talked about. For example, Sandra Bland and Rakia Boyd, they were big ones. Like I believe Sandra Bland was the one that was smoking the cigarette, and then like they like arrested her, and then she like magically died while they were like in custody.
Yeah, in custody. Yeah, in police custody. Yeah.
And then to be honest with you, I don't remember what the Rakia Boyd one was off the top of my head. I can't remember. It was a while ago. That's a shame. But anyway, say her name came out of that, and then there was also I mentioned before. I believe that Me Too. Did I say that? I'm so scatterbrained. I got Ferrari Testarossas on my mind. Me Too came from a 2006 piece that was written by someone, I believe, a black woman, and Alyssa Milano used it. And by the way, the woman was also given credit. To be fair, she was given credit, but Alyssa Milano used it obviously to shed light on some sexual assault that she had experienced in Hollywood. And Black Lives Matter also is another one that we'll talk about a little bit more. So who would you say are some black Twitter icons? Some people in the black Twitter community that are highlighted often, respected, coveted?
You're asking the wrong guy, my dude.
You can't think of any? You can't name one? Just think about it.
I mean, I would imagine I don't know. I mean, that's a good question. Like I said, you already said, like, I'm never on Twitter. This is my first time scrolling through Black Twitter.
And have you seen any celebrities as you've scrolled through while I'm talking?
Actually, no, I have not.
Well, I'll give an obvious one. Beyonce.
Okay.
And the thing about Beyonce is I don't even really consider myself that big of a Beyonce fan, but I do find myself wanting to stick up for her just because, like, I find most insults or hatred to be unfounded. And it's like I'm not even a huge fan of hers, but I also think that you shitting on her is unfounded. Serena Williams, obviously.
Oh, that makes sense.
Black Twitter icon. People love Serena. Especially in a sport like tennis, or for example, Tiger Woods, who's not even like the greatest of humans. I think he gets a lot of respect in Black Twitter because it is cool to see a black person in a sport where they don't really want black people, like tennis and golf.
Right.
and for them to just dominate. And for example, Tiger Woods, who recently just won something important, U.S. Open.
He won. I know he just won another major. I'm not sure which, but yeah.
Sure. I'll tell you what he won. Tiger Woods won his first golf tournament since 4 back surgeries, which was when the tour what the is this tour called? The Tiger Woods Tour is what it's called. He won the Tiger Woods Tour, and I think Black Twitter kind of likes it more, and it's more because people like to. I think not even fully based off of his race, but just someone as good as him in general. People like to see someone like that fall from glory. You know, people, especially in our society like this today, people love to see people like get embarrassed or fall from glory. Or, for example, like Alvin from the Cosby Show, who people are shitting at him for working at Trader Joe's.
Trader Joe's.
Where it's like people love to see love to see someone's perception of someone get shattered, and it's like. I think that's why people like to root for someone like Tiger Woods, where it's like, yeah, no, we recognize that he was cheating he was cheating on his wife, and he's kind of not the greatest of humans, but also, don't doubt us. I think there's a lot of that in there, and there's a lot of support in Black Twitter, which I think support in general is something that white people don't understand. Is because that they don't have that sort of camaraderie throughout each other, I don't think. And there's not like, oh, that's another white person. It's not like you don't do that like head nod to other white. It's just not. There's not that same sort of camaraderie.
I agree.
There.
I agree. I mean, this probably isn't the best person to bring up because of his sexual assault allegations, but Louis C.K. actually does a bit about that.
Oh, what is it?
I'm pretty sure it's Louis C.K. What he says is he says that basically kind of the same thing. Like, as a white dude, if he saw like another white dude getting beat up like in the park, it's not like he would like go to his rescue just because he's a white dude, right?
Right.
It's just I agree with you. Like I don't, but see, I think it's because there's a slight difference. Sadly, most black people in the United States can't trace back, they know that they most likely came probably from somewhere in Africa, unless they immigrated from like Jamaica or somewhere in the Caribbean, which they still probably would have also.
I was going to say, the Jamaicans got there because of slavery as well, I believe.
Well, exactly. They did. But I guess my point, that's irrelevant. What my point is like,
I understand what you're getting at, though.
Yeah, a lot of white people, they have, I'm German American or I'm Irish American or I'm whatever. So like when white people ask me, why can't we have a white Pride Month? It's like, do you understand how ignorant and stupid that statement is? Like,
right.
Like we don't have a white Pride Month because look at what we teach in our history classes. I mean, it's all focused on white European American people.
And also, I think back to the Twitter thing is that Twitter has shed light onto the fact that there are so many stories. Or things that go overlooked just because there's not someone looking out for someone else, or just because someone doesn't happen to have a camera there. And I think that, especially in recent history with the with this Black Twitter thing, people have realized that, especially in the Black community, that we have to stick up for each other because it is so easy for someone to get off. It is so easy for someone to be say, no, I didn't do that, or that's not how it went, especially when the black person is dead and there's only one side of the story being told, and no one else was there to see it. Where it's like, oh no, hey, don't forget that if you you have to, you need to have every bit of evidence you can to prove your innocence. That's what you're essentially. You're proving the innocence of the person that was killed, rather than proving the guilt of the person that, or innocence. To be fair, or innocence, but a lot of guilt of the people that are doing the killing. But it's like, yeah, of course it's easy to do that when there's only the side of the story of the person that did the killing. I had a teacher in high school, and he used to be a captain in the Navy, and he would always say, if someone breaks into your house and you shoot them, shoot to kill, because if you kill them and they're in your house, then you have, you're within your rights. But if they're still alive, then there's someone else to tell their side of the story, which is only going to complicate things.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. Yeah, I think it's important for there to be a group, or whether it be through hashtags or whatever, where, like you said, like people can spread awareness, and like, yeah, it's very important. I got a question for you. So I'm still scrolling through Black Twitter. What are your thoughts on so somebody posted, the news you want to think Kanye is a lone wolf, but brothers and sisters are walking away from the identity politics that kept us oppressed. And they have a picture of a bunch of black guys wearing Make America Great Again hats and like Trump hats. What are your thoughts on that?
I like black people that support Trump.
Yeah.
I think they're fucking stupid. I mean, it's ridiculous to me. I like, because it always goes back to me to that whole thing of supporting a racist. It's like, oh, I didn't vote for him not because of racial things. Fine, maybe you do you did vote for him for economic reasons. However, the racial part is undeniable. So you're okay with that, is what you're saying. Or it's like, I'm okay with that because I don't know, my taxes will look better because I'm rich or whatever. I don't know what it is, but I think that sort of ignorance is ridiculous. And I think that dating back to the fucking 80s, there's been proof of his racism with the Central Park Five, where even when those kids in New York were proven innocent of rape on some white women, that I don't know if the white women accused them or however, but he insisted that they were guilty even after that, even after it had been proven innocent by like semen.
Didn't he want them to get the death penalty?
Probably, probably. And then so there's that all the way back up, and not even to get into his dad, by the way. And then it goes all the way up to Obama's presidency, to where he was insisting birtherism and insisting that he wasn't from America and all that stuff. And it's just like this. It's just a level of ignorance and wanting to. And I think a lot of it, I personally believe, a lot of it comes from wanting to fit in and wanting to wanting to and not and I'd have to say purposely, because I think it has to be on purpose, having a short-sighted view of what racism is, where it's like, oh, my coworker or my friend doesn't say the N-word. Oh, my friend is nice to me. What are you talking about? He invited me over. He invited my family over for dinner on Christmas or whatever. It's like, he's not. It's like you guys have all these bad. You guys put all these lies, or make all these things up about Trump supporters, or just because they're white people. And it's like that. To say that is to be ignorant to the realities of what has been said and what is still being said. So I'd say fuck them. And I think that it's pathetic. And I think that well, you know what I often wonder is how they're going to look back at themselves like 30 years from now. Because it's just like history will write itself, and it's the same thing with, like, say for example, when people were marching around Martin Luther King's time. How many of these fucking people were saying that they were like, oh, I was there? It's like, no, you weren't. You're telling him that he was wasting his time and no one was listening to him and he needs to go home or else he's gonna get killed. It's like, it's just people disgust me is what it is. Sorry.
Right. No. Yeah, I mean, I would agree with you, man. I mean, yeah, it just, we live in a very strange time right now. I think, but here's the other thing. I actually don't, you hear a lot of people say, and I don't know if they say this on Black Twitter or not, but you hear a lot of people say that now we are more divided than ever. And I read a really interesting post from somebody that said, really, it's been more divided for you than ever, because if you look historically, I mean, especially if you were a black person in the United States, things were a lot more divided. I mean, they were literally segregated. Your schools were different, everything. And so I feel like maybe for some people who have a lot of privilege, maybe for them they think it's more politically divided, but I think there's still a lot of issues. And I mean, the nice thing about Black Twitter is it is a space for people to talk about these issues, which I think is really important.
I think a lot of the people that also try to use the argument that things are better, because yes, obviously we've objectively gotten better since like the 60s, 70s, 40s, 50s, blah 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 blah. But I think to use that as some sort of way to say like, look, what we're doing better is just to discount the reality of what's happening right now. Or it's like just because we can use the same drinking fountain doesn't mean that there aren't serious issues that we are now just supposed to ignore just because it's better. And it's like I think a lot of the saying it's better, what's the problem, more comes from people wanting to not deal with what the problems are. Can I give you some more Black Twitter icons?
Absolutely. Well, can I give you one? Because I don't know how I forgot this person, but I got one for you.
Okay, let's hear it.
Sean King.
Sean King. Oh yes. There's a lot of debate about Sean King.
Why is that?
People claim he's not black. I don't know the answer. I don't follow Sean King, but I don't know the answer. But I'm familiar with him. I know who he is. But people do claim he's not black and try to use that against him.
Why? Just because he's lighter skinned?
Yeah, and I think it's also I don't know I don't even follow him, so I don't know that much about him. I know who he is, and I'm very familiar with this post of and he's just shedding awareness on a lot of stuff. But I just hear a lot of people talk about that they don't believe he's black, and I think it's bullshit. I do think it's bullshit. But I think he's definitely a staple. He the only reason I'd say the main reason I don't follow him is because all he does is just put out just like it all it is, and sometimes I get it through like retweets and stuff. But I was like, I can't follow this because that's like all it is. I need some variety in my post from people. But yes, right. You are correct. I'd say he's definitely a staple in Black Twitter. But I think I don't know. I agree with you, but I agree with you. I agree with you. Ava DuVernay. Do you know who Ava DuVernay is?
No. Mm-mm.
Ava DuVernay is a American film director, producer, screenwriter, film marketer, and film distributor. She's won the directing award in the U.S. Dramatic Competition at Sundance for her second feature. Okay, that's garbage. I mean, not garbage, but that's not what I want to talk about. I didn't mean to say garbage. Sorry. She's great. She's made films like Selma, the 13th, A Wrinkle in Time. And she's also, if I'm not mistaken, I believe she, oh yeah. So anyway, she's also, so she's like just a producer. Oh, she's also produced a TV show called Queen Sugar, which is very popular. So she's just like a very popular and well-known producer and writer and she's known for finding activities for black people and getting a lot of black shows produced and put on the air because she's got a lot of push in the industry. Mm-hmm. And she's also, not only a great great producer and all that stuff, but she's got a great presence on Twitter. She's always she's popular on Twitter. Have you heard of? I'm gonna name some movies, or excuse me, some TV shows for you, and I just want to get your what do these have in common? Grey's Anatomy, Private Practice, Scandal, How to Get Away with Murder. What do all these have in common?
I only know of a few of the shows, but I would assume either, I don't know, are they either written, directed, or produced by? I don't know.
Chad, you're so good. Good guess. No, they are all written and produced or authored. So she has books too by Shonda Rhimes, who's also
gotcha. Okay.
Black Twitter icon. Another Black Twitter icon is Maxine Waters.
Oh yeah, that would make sense.
She is she's a representative from California, and people often call her Auntie Maxine, and I think people call her that because a lot of people can relate to her in the Black Twitter community. A lot of people are like, I have someone in my family like that, she stands up for herself, and she stands up against Trump and people like that too, obviously.
Right.
So I mean, obviously people also don't like her, which I think also helps with her be a icon in the Black Twitter community, is because of how much shit she gets for the stuff she says. Where it's like there are people that support her and like, no, keep saying your stuff. People are listening to you.
Also, if the Democrats do flip the House, she would be the
Speaker?
I don't remember. Yeah, I think the speaker, or like the majority.
Okay, I got you.
Basically, which would be super interesting.
By the way,
that
everyone
would be
votes in
something
November.
Right. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, get out and vote, people.
Do you vote from Czech Republic?
Yeah, I have to. I'm still waiting. Yeah, I'm still waiting on my absentee ballot. Also, dude, sorry, I was also trying to look up the questions regarding race for Sean King, and no other than
Reddit.
Milo Yiannopoulos. I don't know how to say his name. But the writer from Breitbart. He is the one who started the whole questions regarding race. Of course, on Breitbart. What a shocker.
Did you know that Milo Yiannopoulos married a black man recently?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't know how he likes that relationship works.
I know that dude is straight up in the sunken place. Another popular Black Twitter term, the sunken place, which is often used for those "Make America Great Again" wearing black dudes. Okay. And the sunken place. Have you seen Get Out, the movie?
Oh yeah, it's a great movie.
So in that movie, it's all about essentially brainwashing or brainwashing black men and women, and using their bodies for conduits to dead white people. Mm-hmm. And so those black people would almost be robots and essentially are controlled by the white person. And when they're but that black person's soul and like consciousness is still aware, but it's like deep in this place they call a sunken place where you have no access to it, but you're aware of it. And so when people are out of have no control or are saying ridiculous things, it's like you're clearly not in control of your body right now. You're in the sunken place controlled by these white people. Well, I guess I could also say Jordan Peele is a Black Twitter icon. Especially since, and in his Black Twitter iconness has traveled because he started as a Black Twitter icon due to Key and Peele. I mean,
which is a great show.
They arguably, even though Chappelle's Show is probably what started it, Key and Peele is arguably one of the most famous skit shows ever. Their skits on YouTube have hundreds of millions of views. For example, the skit, the bit where Jordan Peele, who plays Obama, is walking through a room and he's shaking hands with people, and whenever it's a white person, he's like, "Thank you very much," and he gives like a respectful handshake. And then when it's black people, he'll like hug them or dap them up or like be like, "Hey." And this clip, sorry, I've been talking so much that like my voice is getting raspy, like I can feel it. Hold on.
No worries. You know what's funny though about that show is Dave Chappelle said somewhere
I saw that.
Yeah, he said that they were kind of
in one of his specials.
Yeah, But anyways.
But he also, he admits that it was a joke too, and it's a joke.
Yeah,
but
well, yeah,
but also all jokes are based in reality. There is also that too. So he was joking, but he's also like, but I mean what I say, but I'm not mad. I don't think he's mad, because that could have been him. He gave up the giant paycheck, so theoretically that could have been him if he kept going, because he only did 2 seasons. However, you're obviously familiar with what I'm talking about, right? This Obama clip that's been turned, that has resurfaced recently, because it probably came out in like 2013, 2012, 2014, something like that. But it's resurfaced recently due to, I'll give the guys credit, at Matt, MATTE _black, who did the first one about Marvel movies. And essentially what it is whenever it's like one of the white people where you shake, where it's the shaking someone's hand, you're like, oh, it's something that like I respect, but I don't really like it. But then what they'll do is then they'll like have like the black people will be like, oh, Black Panther, and it's like them like dapping up one of the black people, and it has swept the internet by storm. this this video has taken over, and they're all great. It's so good. It's just like the originality of that stuff is great. It's like, who even thinks to do that? But then once someone does it, it blows up. And so Matt Black, I looked up his tweet, and he that has about 155,000 retweets. So
nice.
Shout out to Matt
That's
Black.
a lot. Okay.
Yeah.
I got a couple questions for you.
Okay.
Well, first of all, have you seen the Key and Peele sketch where the substitute teacher comes in?
Of course.
And he's saying all the names wrong?
We took Aaron and used it on Peaches.
Right. So was that
That
like
sentence made no sense to anyone except for by the way, we
right.
took Aaron and used it on Peaches.
Yeah, that won't make any sense. That won't make any sense. Anyways, like, was that also like a thing on Black Twitter? Like, did that become widespread? Do you know?
I don't know.
Or...
I think first of all, that might have been pre-Black Twitter for me personally.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure, obviously it's popular,
right?
And everyone knows it and everyone's seen it. But I don't know how well that's adapted to Black Twitter, other than like people knowing what it is. Because I think those clips are so ubiquitous in the social media square. Like, I feel like anyone that is like up to date on Twitter or Facebook or anything like that. First of all, saying up to date on Facebook is an oxymoron in this day and age, by the way.
Right.
But anyone that's up to date on Twitter or Instagram or something has probably seen most of the famous Key and Peele sketches. And I think that the Jaqueline is one of the staples in there too. Oh
yeah, Timothy.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all
Prescient.
good. They're just fantastic though. Both of those guys, Keegan-Michael Key and Jordan Peele.
Oh yeah, for sure. And did you see that they're rebooting Twilight Zone with hosted by Jordan Peele?
Oh, what? That would be awesome.
Yeah, I think it's
so. I got another question for you about Black Twitter.
Uh-huh.
How bad was Rachel Dolezal dragged through the mud on there?
Yeah,
she had to have gotten roasted, right?
One of my bullet points was not Rachel Dolezal. I'm glad you brought it up. I didn't even think about that. But one of them was the art of dragging.
Okay.
Which is essential. Which it goes back to what we were saying before. It's taking terrible situations and turning them hilarious. There were so many, and see, I wish I had more ready to go, but there were so many Rachel Dolezal hashtags that were just amazing. And I wish I could find some, but I won't be able to find them on the fly. Well, Dolezal,
I'll do some looking right now for you. Don't worry.
Rachel Dolezal was essentially who she was a member of the NAACP in Spokane, Washington, which theoretically would be fine if you're a white person. They allow white people to be members. However, she was also the director, which you could be a white person and a director, I guess. But she pretended to be black, and she presented herself as a black person and claimed that she was black, where it was proven that she's not. Her parents, two white as fuck people, came out and said, we're her parents, we're white as fuck, she's not black. And she's like, nah, I'm black. And did you know that she actually recently, within a couple of years, has also changed her name to some like African name? Did you know that? So Rachel Dolezal was made fun of hardcore on Twitter, and there were many hashtags with, I hope Chad, since he's not paying attention to me, I hope he's at least finding some good hashtags.
Well, so the big hashtag is Ask Rachel.
Okay. Yes. Oh, by the way, before we get into this, it's not Rachel. It's Nkechi Amade Diallo. That's her. That's her current name.
Oh man. Oh man. Oh man. That's just too funny.
Ask Nkechi.
Rachel
Dolezal is essentially like the Lindsay Lohan of black people. No, that's not even fair. Lindsay Lohan's not this offensive, but Lindsay Lohan is creeping towards Rachel Dolezal levels with Arab people.
Right. Yeah. So this is Ask Rachel. People are just posting all sorts of stuff and just hashtag Ask Rachel. Somebody said, I'll give them credit where credit's due. The average black man at the AVG black man in 2015 said, "Can transracial be a thing?" Hashtag Black Twitter got me, and then the two like laughing, crying emojis with hashtag Ask Rachel tweets about. But are other whites passing for black? That's a good question.
That is a good question, I think that's a question that no one has asked, because why would you want to do that? Like, us as black people do not see the benefit of doing that. It's like, what are you gaining from this? And it's just like how hard do you need to be accepted where you can't even where you feel like you need to do that? It's pathetic.
I agree.
Ask Rachel. The proper order. Oh, oops, sorry. I didn't even mean to. I'm sorry. I'm looking at some of the Ask Rachels too.
This is great. This is from @Shandy21, and she writes, "I just love when hashtag Black Twitter comes together for a common goal. Hashtag Ask Rachel." Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
These are just too funny. Oh my god.
Mary Blige doesn't want hateration or holleration and where. A, her home. B, at work. C, in cars. D, this dancery. Ask Rachel.
These are just great.
If R. Kelly's mind is telling him no, what is his body telling him? A, possibly. B, no. Yes. Go home, Robert. You're drunk. Ask Rachel.
Oh my god, there's a meme that has the Power Rangers, and she's the Black Ranger. It's like Rachel Dolezal be like, and she's the Black Power Ranger. Oh my god.
So yeah, once again, some bullshit that turns into a hilarious joke.
Here you go, Jared. So there's a picture of red Kool-Aid, and it says, "What flavor is this?" Hashtag Ask Rachel. A, tropical punch. B, cherry. C, strawberry. D, red. I'm going to guess. Is it red? Is red the right answer?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, my God.
I mean, hey, listen. Don't put me on the spot. Another popular thing in the black community, speaking of which, is the cookout.
Okay.
And inviting to the cookout. I personally, I think the quote-unquote cookout is a funny concept, but I need to make it clear I would invite no one to the cookout. I don't care if you're the most understanding non-black person. I'm not inviting anyone to the cookout. But it is just a funny concept. And it's like, for example, Justin Timberlake lost his cookout invitation a long time ago. Really since Janet Jackson has he lost his cookout invitation. But that is a very popular thing in the black Twitter sphere is this person invited to the cookout. Another black Twitter icon is Cardi B, I would say.
Okay.
And I say Cardi...
So not Nicki Minaj, huh?
Listen to Chad trying to start some shit. Chad thinks he's so fucking clever. Not Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj is losing her standing. Nicki, what are you doing? Nicki Minaj is petty. She's arguing with other people that are putting out albums and saying that her album's better and blah, 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 blah. It really is just because she's mad that hers didn't sell as many as I believe it was Travis Scott. And Travis Scott like, hey, I'm minding my own business. Why are you bringing me up? It's like, what am I supposed to do? I can't help that more people want my album. And her and Cardi B, she shits like Cardi B. But people love Cardi B because Cardi B, one, she keeps it real. And by keeps it real, I mean she seems to be very authentic to herself. She's from the Bronx, I believe. And she has a very, I believe she's also Dominican. And she has a very, stereotypical Bronx Dominican demeanor. She doesn't seem to let the celebrity distort who she is. And people love to see someone that's succeeding while staying true to themselves. For example, Tiffany Haddish is another, I'd say, black Twitter icon for I'd say the same reason, where she stays very authentic to herself, and she's now she's went from just a comedian to now a full-blown movie star.
Also, somewhat earlier, there's also a Reddit Black People Twitter.
I'd believe it. I've seen that before, but I haven't delved into it because I think I just assumed. I was like, well, there's no way this is actually run by black people. I just assumed it was how white people figured out what we were talking about was on Reddit.
Right.
And that's how words like on fleek and lit slip into the mainstream. Just through Reddit.
Right. Definitely.
So tell me about this Reddit. You brought it up just for no reason? You had nothing else to say about that other than that?
I'm skimming through it. This one's funny. So this one says, you had Crocs, but go off, ... And this is from at Cloutboy Jojo, I think. Parents, when you get new shoes, I only had one pair when I was your age, and I had to wear them until they had holes in them. Me, weird flex, but okay. ...
Oh my gosh. Another popular hashtag, my last one, was Oscar So White, which also had a lot of great tweets, and it's one more thing that came out of just a awareness that Oscars was filled with white people, and I believe it's changed too. Like I'd say that if you look at Emmys and Oscars of recent, there's way more representation. So stuff like this fucking works.
Right.
By the way, let me just say, I'm talking to the listeners right now. Let me tell you how hard it is to conduct a professional podcast when I can physically see in Chad's face that he's not paying attention to me. I'm watching him not pay attention and laugh at stuff, and I'm literally talking to no one right now.
I'm listening. I'm trying to multitask. I'm not a great multitasker.
I believe that you're listening, but it is hard to watch you not clearly pay attention to something else.
I was trying to find a good gem for you, and I think I found one.
Okay.
So this is from Reddit Black People Twitter, and it's from at Christine Fox, and she said it's a picture of Steve Carell, and someone said Steve Carell. Oh shit! Somebody's Twitter handle at Jim Halpert. Steve Carell is aging better than a fine wine, folks. And then she commented, he looks like Ellen DeGeneres when he shaves. Cry face emoji. So I thought that was pretty hilarious.
By the way, there has been a lot of talk about Steve Carell recently. Apparently he's been aging very well. He's kind of got the salt and pepper beard going on now. Mm-hmm. And he's definitely grown up. Shout out to the sexy
I feel like
Steve Carell.
There might even be some tweets way down there in the Black Twitterverse, probably roasting maybe Steve Carell or because he said some borderline, not even borderline. He said some blatant racist
first of all,
shit.
He did. It was not written by him, but yeah, he did.
Right.
He did say it. But yeah, I mean, it was a. I hate to use this, but it was a different time, I guess, because he said homophobic stuff. He said sexist stuff.
And he literally
that show is one of the most popular shows of like that era.
Right. Well, and he tweeted out, I think it was him, or he said in some type of interview that The Office, wouldn't work in today's climate, which I agree. Yeah.
But and that's also the struggle that we've seen The Simpsons have. For example, like them dealing with the Apu character. Mm-hmm. It's like, and they even subtly mentioned how like times have changed and people can't take jokes anymore. It's like, I don't think it's that. I like, what's funny is what's funny. And so if people aren't laughing, it's that you can't adapt, not that people can't take jokes anymore. Because it's a joke if people are laughing. And so it's not like, oh, in 1999, this joke would have been hilarious. Where it's like, well, then it's not a joke anymore, apparently. And so you have to figure out, it's not like people don't know how to laugh anymore. It's that you're not saying stuff that makes people want to laugh.
Right. I agree. That's a good point.
And apparently, I haven't seen it, but apparently South Park, who has always gone after shows similar to it, like Family Guy and The Simpsons, handled the Apu situation in an episode. And actually, from what I heard, I didn't even watch the episode, and I didn't even read about it. I just saw a headline, which is a very popular Twitter way to talk about things. Apparently, they handle it very well, which goes to show you, once again, I haven't. Let me look it up. Let me see if I can get a little synopsis about it. But it goes to show you that, no, you can be funny and talk about serious topics. It's just you have to have the skills to do it. Let's see. According to Digital Spy, a website I've never heard of, and I'll probably never go to again after I read this. Let's see. South Park mocks the Simpsons Apu character in latest episode. The problem with Apu, A space Poo. Never one to shy away from public controversies. South Park took aim at another animated series in its latest episode, The Simpsons. The third episode of its current 22nd season, The Problem with Apu, once again, A space Poo, a suitably shady title, tackled the much-discussed backlash over the character of Apu and the iconic Matt Groening cartoon, excuse me. The story revolved around the festive Christmas Pooh, Mr. Hanky. Reading this sounds so ridiculous, but who finds his reputation go well and truly down the toilet after posting a series of offensive tweets. That's so funny. It culminates in the fecal fellow being exiled from the city, as Randy Marsh declares he'll have to go to. Sorry, some crimes are being committed behind me. I've considered recording in like a closet, but I like my desk, and I'm like, you know what? I do live in the city. Wow, that's a lot of police cars. Jeez, it's still going. It adds some ambiance. You know, it's real in these streets, people. It culminates in the fecal. Oh yeah, Randy Marsh declares he'll have to go to a place that accepts racist, awful beings like him. There are still places out there who don't care about bigotry and hate. And yep, you can guess what happens next. Mr. Hanky is swiftly seen arriving in Springfield to be greeted by Apu, who tells him, "Welcome, my friend. Please rest your weary feet and make yourself at home." The Simpsons was called out for perpetuating a grossly offensive racial stereotype with its depiction of the Quickie Mart owner, Apu, as part of a documentary released called The Problem with Apu by a comedian, Hari Kondabolu. So yeah, that's kind of clever way to do it. It's like, go to some racist city that'll accept you. It's like, all right, I'll go to Springfield where the Simpsons are.
Right, exactly. Well, man, speaking of racism, unless you have more to add about Black Twitter.
No, that was it.
I think we should move on to our song by Joyner Lucas, which is called "I'm Not Racist."
That song was powerful.
I got goosebumps, and I listened to it like 3 or 4 times. Goosebumps every time.
Oh yeah, and I mentioned to you that I've seen the thumbnail for that song, a bunch of times. Obviously, it's got like 95 million views. So obviously, and I listen to a lot of hip hop, so obviously it shows up. I did not realize, every time I saw that, I didn't even realize what that was. I didn't realize it was a song. I always just was under the impression that it was some Make America Great Again dude explaining why he's not racist. You know what I mean? Like saying, right. I had no idea it was a song. And so when you sent it to me, I was like, what? And then I started listening to it. I was like, oh shit. First of all, more than this is the song of the pod segment. So first and foremost, I was listening to this as a music fan. And as we say on Black Twitter, this shit goes. That dude was rapping his ass off. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. The song was I'm Not Racist by Joyner Lucas, who is an American rapper. And
also poet.
Yeah, poet, rapper. I got nothing. And I was trying to think of a third, but I got nothing. What the song is him. First it starts off by a dude, like a kind of a heavy set white dude with a "Make America Great Again" hat on, rapping. Well, what looks like rapping or talking to Joyner Lucas, who's sitting across from a table from him. But really what it is Joyner Lucas rapping, and then the guy just mouthing along to it. But what it is the rap is the "Make America Great Again" hat-wearing guy spouting a bunch of sort of right-wing talking points to why black people are what's really keeping black people down, and why you so lazy, and why you what's wrong. And so I actually have it's just like a solid like it's just straight rapping for this whole song. So there's no chorus. There's no really like hook. It's just straight. I mean, but it goes very well. Like it fits very well. So I just want to read an example of what he was saying about like what the "Make America Great Again" guy was saying.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you want to be. So he's talking to Joyner Lucas, the black guy. And it's like you want to be so famous, you'll do anything for attention and a little payment. I can't take you nowhere without people pointing fingers, pants hanging off your ass. You ain't gotten no home training. Put your fucking pants up, nigga. Sorry, people. Children, cover your ears. Don't say that word. Put that suit back on. Take that do-rag off. Take that gold out your mouth. Quit the pitiful stuff. And then maybe the police would stop killing you fucks. Yo, what the fuck? I'm not racist. And so it was essentially him just rapping from the perspective of someone that claims that they're not racist, but got
then some
says,
pretty
like,
damn racist thoughts.
I'm not. It's like it's essentially someone that says I'm not racist, but why do black people do this? Or I'm not racist, but why do Mexicans do this or whatever?
Which is also, I have to say, I love the first line of the song, "With all due respect."
Yes.
And I'm on Genius.com right now, and Joyner Lucas verified this himself. He writes, "With all due respect, you know that something crazy is going to come after that."
Mm-hmm. For example, one of my favorite lines in the song was, so the first verse was spoken from that white dude's point of view, and then essentially Joyner Lucas had his so the white dude's verse ended with him saying, "But there's two sides to every story. I wish that I knew yours. I wish that I knew yours. I'm not racist, I swear." So he sits down, and then Joyner Lucas starts rapping his essentially rebuttal to what he was saying. And the rebuttal starts with all disrespect, I don't really like you white motherfuckers. That's just where I'm at. Screaming all lives matter is a protest to my protest. What kind of shit is that? And that start to his verse is just great in general. I love that. And can I read one verse, well, like a section from his rebuttal?
Of course, dude. Of course.
And all you care about is money and power and being ugly, and that's the cracker within you, hatred all in your brain. It slowly starts to convince you, and then you teach it to your children until the cycle continue. Blame it on Puerto Rico, blame it on OJ, blame it on everybody except for your own race. Blame it on black niggas and blame it on black citizens and at the black businesses. I ain't saying I'm innocent, but I might be all day now. But I might be any day now. Treating everybody how you want and any way how. Whew, jeez, this is exhausting.
But it's great.
Oh, for sure. And I'm glad you put that in front of me, because I can't believe that I'd seen that and just passed over it so many times. Because like, I actually like the song. Obviously it's a great message. It's a deep ass message, but like it just sounds like it's catchy too.
It's well written, and it really touches on a lot of issues that I think a lot of white and black Americans are dealing with right now, right? Because I mean, I feel like both the perspective of the white guy and the black guy, a lot of these are like generalizations and stereotypes, but that a lot of people think. But I also love that line, but there's two sides to every story. I wish that I knew yours. I wish that I knew yours. And I feel like if we ever even want to try to overcome some of these difficult things, we need to hear each other's stories and try to hear them with as open ears as possible and open minds.
And then the video ended with them hugging each other, which I'm honestly kind of mama hoo hoo on that part of it.
Okay.
Because I do struggle with just like the just because you have different opinions, you need to accept the people on the quote unquote other side. Where it's like it all goes back to like a lot of those different opinions are based in supporting someone that flat out dehumanizes minorities and shit like that, and has done so consistently, and is actively fighting. So it's like, why do I have to be like, oh, but let me accept you and be friendly to you, when it's like you're arguing something to me that is essentially like against my well-being as a human.
Right. I'm trying to find this quote. There's a quote. I'm trying to find it. 1 second here. Because there's this quote that really sums that up. Let's see here. Hopefully this is it right here.
Check Black Twitter.
1 second.
You betcha.
Oh, damn it. I'm not gonna be able to find it. Basically, there was a quote that said, like, we can disagree, but like, when your opinion is leading to my oppression or even my death, is when I can't.
Yeah. This is no longer
agree to disagree.
And I think a lot of the struggle is that for people that are not in whatever the quote unquote oppressed category is, a lot of the times these arguments about race or sexuality and all that stuff, it seems like when it's coming from someone that's not in that group, it's more of like a intellectual discussion or game almost, where it's like we're almost fighting an intellectual topic, or like we're trying to over like analyze something, where it's like you don't realize that you can try to give it to me from all the scientific analysis or quote unquote base it in some sort of logic that you have, but like this supersedes logic. This is a human, like we're talking about people's lives and stuff that has been ingrained into people for generations. Like you can't just like you can't convince people of why racism is better and not shouldn't be as a problem, or why sexism is objectively better. It's like, okay, but like you don't even realize levels of racism and sexism that are unquantifiable. That's the majority of it is the unquantifiable, sure. Not the shit that not even these giant cases that mean a lot. For example, like the case that integrated schools in Kansas, where or Arkansas, whatever it was, where like kids were getting shit thrown at them. Like, yeah, those cases are important to history, but like that's not even what racism is and sexism and any sort of oppression. Like, it's the stuff that can't be quantified on a fucking daily basis.
I agree, and I found the quote. So here's the quote. And actually,
all
what,
it
Jared?
took was me to talk and yammer for a little bit longer.
Exactly. And actually, you know what, Jared? I think we're actually going to end our pod this week with two quotes. This quote and one other quote.
Okay.
But I want to read this quote for you and for all of our listeners. It's by
Troyer
James
Lucas,
Baldwin.
I'm not racist. Untranslatable 1. I'll post it on
you.
Twitter. I always post it the day after the episode drops.
Perfect.
I don't know
So
why I do that, but that's how I do it.
It's all good, man. You do you. I appreciate you posting it on our Twitter. So here we go. So this is by James Baldwin, and he said, "We can disagree and still love each other unless your disagreement is rooted in my oppression and denial of my humanity and right to exist."
Yes. And I believe if you go back to many episodes ago, James Baldwin was one of the people I would like to have at my have dinner with anybody in the world.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That is a great quote. Yeah. Where it's like, yeah, that's essentially what I said, is like you're turning people's humanity into like a intellectual game. It's like you like it's easy for you to intellectualize something when you're talking about it from a outside perspective. When it's like it's hard for me to intellectualize my cousin being in prison for eighth of weed.
Right. Exactly. And I think also to even go back to the song, I think it was either in the verse where the white guy was talking, or it could have been the verse with the black guy. One of them said that you wouldn't know what it's like to live my life. Yeah. And I think that's really true. You know what I mean? Like, and also the fact that like a lot of, I think, white people will say, "Oh, well, I have black friends. I'm not racist, blah, blah, blah." It's like, but in my opinion, unless you're really trying to be an ally, I just don't. I think, if you're not doing something against it, if you're doing nothing, you're still not helping the cause. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. No, I feel you. I mean, yeah. Sometimes I feel like I'm doing nothing, to be honest with you. Just gotta live in this life, baby.
Right.
Continuing to thrive in these streets.
Yeah. Well, so I was gonna skip this, but I'll give it
did
to
you
our
purposely
listeners
skip
anyways.
that?
I did, yeah, but that's okay.
Hi, well, Chad, that's one thing that we can't skip. I saw that, and I was like, did he try to sneak this by me, or are we not going to do the one thing that we're here for, if anything, is to work on the languages?
That's true. I just thought we were going a different route with this episode, but
Chad,
I'm happy.
you are really slipping on gator piss.
Well,
I don't know. I don't know.
I'm happy to share my check words of the pod, but this went a way more serious route than I had initially intended.
I see what you're saying. You don't want to just now take a weird left turn to check.
Right.
I gotcha. I'm sorry.
But it's all good.
All right. Well,
it's all
now
good.
I feel like I ruined the vibe.
Oh, you're good, man. You're good. I mean, hey, this is a useful phrase for anybody who comes to visit the Czech Republic. So I actually have 2 words, and they're very important. Východ and výstup, and those mean východ is entrance, and výstup is exit.
Okay.
So you don't want to be walking into the wrong door. Or I almost had an incident in a grocery store where I almost hit the glass because it was the exit. So don't be one of those people. So východ is entrance, výstup is exit.
I recently went to Target and I was mere inches away from running into the door because there was 2 sets of doors. One was automatic and one wasn't, and I thought I was behind the automatic one. And I literally had to freeze and oh, this is a push door. I almost just slapped my face into this door.
And their entrance and exit signs aren't going to help you.
No.
But yeah. And you see those all over Prague, which is another reason why, especially if you ride the public transportation.
Východ.
The CH is a
výstup.
Yep, výstup. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes. Exactly. Yeah, so I hope those Czech words are helpful for our listeners out there, especially if you come to the Czech Republic anytime soon.
Hezký kluk.
Thank you, good sir.
I'm sorry I ruined the vibe, but I need to collect.
You're good. I mean, one of the reasons why we do this podcast is to promote learning languages. So your mind's in the right place, man. I can't complain. Well, on that note, though, Jared, we are going to change the vibe back to where we were, and I want to end our podcast with the very important quote that I don't think should be controversial, but for some odd reason, for a lot of, I would say, white people. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like white people tend to find this.
Make America Great Again wearing black people that you mentioned earlier.
Right. And our quote is, Black Lives Matter. Yes, of course, all lives matter, but right now we need to focus the attention on, all the injustices that are happening to, black people in the United States.
And that's the whole point of it, though, is to say as well, Black Lives Matter as well, which is why... and we, the black people, don't get the vibe that we're treated as if our lives matter like other people's.
Right. Well, and it's funny
That's not
because...
to say that the other people don't matter. It's like, no, they do matter, but we want to matter like them too.
Yeah, why can't... Exactly. And I feel like the people out there who say, well, all lives matter, it's like you clearly aren't understanding what is really going on right now.
Yeah.
I mean...
Well, it's just a convenient way to look at it, is to look at it as if it's insulting or denigrating another. I think that in itself is very revealing, where it's like, why is it that when you hear that, your first thought is that someone's shitting on you?
Right.
Like, why is that where your head is immediately going to? That in itself is, I think, something that a lot of people need to, look at, figure out about themselves.
Oh, I would agree 100%. And like I said earlier, in my opinion, if you want to be an ally, you got to understand that Black Lives Matter is not putting other lives as more important or that they matter more. It's that, there are racial injustices in the United States, and we need to stand up for people. I don't care what color your skin is. if you see someone being treated unfairly or unjustly, and we have plenty of examples of proof of this, why it boggles my mind that this is so controversial for some people. Just the phrase Black Lives Matter.
I think a lot of that is willfully changing the narrative for their own benefits.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I would
agree. And it's just like, I think it all just goes back to justifying racism and stuff like that. It's where it's because you can't just. I mean, most racist people aren't just outwardly thinking that they're racist. So you justify it through all these contortions and twists and turns that you convince yourself of in your mind to convince yourself that the way that you feel is justified.
Exactly. And it's and that's the quote. Black Lives Matter, period.
Parada.
Exactly. It is. So to all our listeners out there, we hope we've been able to shine some light on what Black Twitter is. Also,
this is just 101, by the way.
Right.
With this could have gone so much deeper. I actually, this might have been one of the most researched episodes I've done.
Right.
This is just 101.
That's saying something.
We could definitely do a 201, maybe.
I think
later.
we should.
Who knows?
We definitely should. I honestly, man, I learned a lot talking to you about Black Twitter, and
that's good. I'm glad.
I think we all need to try to inform ourselves one way or another. So I thank you, Jared, for all of the research and the interesting conversation.
You betcha.
This definitely got a lot more deep and philosophical and political than I guess I had my inclinations. It might go this way, but you never know. You never know with the two of us. But we hope you enjoyed this episode, especially our listeners from around the world who maybe aren't so aware about everything going on. We're hoping to make you a little more woke if we can. Is that safe to say, Jared?
You can say whatever you want, Chad.
Fair enough. Anyways, I thank you so much, Jared. I also want to thank all of our listeners out there. And please subscribe or follow us on Twitter, Untranslatable1. Check us out on Instagram, Untranslatable Podcast. We'll be having some cool new pictures and videos coming up for you later. And shoot us an email, what Black Twitter means to you, at untranslatablepodcast@gmail.com. We thank you, and until next time.